People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Ladies, gentlemen, I am the greatest Josh Samuel, and on the line with me, ladies and gentlemen, are two extraordinary brothers. Their names are Fran and Jordan Ros. Brother Fran, man, how you been, man? It's been a long time, man.
I'm doing great, especially after what happened last Sunday. I'm doing really, really good.
Yes, sir. Brother Jordan, man, how you doing, man?
Same. It's been a great time to be someone in the release of the Snyder Cut fandom.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brother Jordan, man, I'll start with you. Last Sunday, the Snyder Cut supporters saw and did something extraordinary. Now, for a new listener or the faint of heart, what would you tell that person we did?
Oh, jeez. I feel like there's so much buildup that's necessary, but I'll try to keep it brief. Essentially, as people know, there are people online who have been calling for Warner Brothers to release a version, Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday was the 2-year anniversary of when the movie was supposed to come out, and instead we were lied to and gave them Justice League instead.
Mm-hmm.
And so in honor of that, we decided to try to get, I think it was 214,000 people to tweet about the Snyder Cut.
Right.
Or at least make 2014 or 214,000 tweets for the day. And not only did we make that, but I think we got close to 1 billion, maybe. I think the numbers we got somewhere in the 900 million area.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 900,000 area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible with numbers. We got almost quadruple what we set out to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, the boss, Zack Snyder, he was posting behind the scenes pictures. People who were involved with the movie were tweeting their support in it. People who weren't involved with the movie were tweeting their support. Like Dave Bautista that day, and I think the God of War dude.
Uh-huh.
And the most surprising thing is all of that was the fact that Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot, of all people, were tweeting about it, which they have been silent on for the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And for the fandom, it seemed like there was a plan, or from Snyder himself to organize this kind of thing and kind of get people talking to get some leverage for the studio, or something was happening, and this is like some sort of social media marketing of some sort. Mm-hmm. We don't exactly know. It's been about a week. There's still no word other than just some rumors yet, but things are looking very, very positive. It was, I think I speak for everybody when I say it was probably the happiest we've been in terms of like Snyder Cut news in a very long time.
Brother Fran, man, what would you tell a faint of heart person or a new listener? What would you tell them about last Sunday, that person or group of people?
Well, I would probably say that last Sunday was the second coming of Jesus Christ to earth, because it was one of the most crazy events I've ever experienced in social media or in cinema history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never seen a movie trend that fucking high 2 years after its release. Like Jordan said, like, we got to 900k tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never seen a hashtag have that many tweets on Twitter. I'm sure that there have been before, but I've never seen it. And the fact that all of that started because a little portion of crazy fans who were trying to get something out that didn't exist, and that we needed to stop talking about it because it wasn't going to happen, and this and that. And we by ourselves got to 214 tweets, and then we got that push from Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck, and that just blew it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zack Snyder also came out on Twitter, and it was fucking crazy. like everyone was talking about it. I follow all kind of politics accounts and cinema accounts and random accounts, and everyone was talking about it. Everyone was like, yeah, just fuck it, release it, this and that. And actors were talking about it. I saw the director of Doctor Strange. I don't really remember his name now.
Scott Derrickson.
He retweeted one of Zach's tweets with the hashtag. So it was crazy. Like I was like, the planets are aligning to be able to make this happen. And from what I've heard, and I'm not saying this I have contacts in Warner Brothers and I know all this stuff. No, I don't know shit. I wish I knew, but I don't know anything. But from what I've heard people talk on Twitter, Warner Brothers wasn't expecting that kind of attention for this hashtag, and it blew away their minds. Like, I cannot believe that this movie that we didn't release 2 years ago is getting more attention than Joker 2 or Black Adam. And from what I've heard, not only, I mean, it's almost like a 99% probability that they're going to release the cut. Like, I think that is something that we can think of a high chance now. But I've heard that because of how much noise and impact Sunday made, they may be reconsidering letting Snyder finish his 5-film arc. Now, I don't want anyone listening to this to be like, oh my god, we did it and he's going to come back and they're going to give him 300 million per movie and this and that. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just the things that I read on Twitter from people who work in the industry, and there are negotiations going on right now because Grace Randolph said that, and I kind of trust her in that. But for someone who has never heard of this, I think that from last Sunday they must have heard something, because it was all over Twitter. Everyone was talking about it. Even Marvel actors were talking about it.
Facts.
Like, it was crazy.
Facts. Brother Fran, I'll start with you, man. Let's talk a little bit about how it should be released. Now, there's been a lot of, as you say, rumors and debates had about, well, let's release it in theaters and then release it on HBO Max and 4K, yada, yada, yada. There's also some individuals that think that HBO Max is solely the best option, or doing the aforementioned, the theatrical, then digital, then Blu-ray, then, whoopty-whoopty-woo. Are you of the mind that HBO Max is the best option, or do you just think that theatrical first might be? Because I think some individuals are probably worried about still have, mixed opinions about what critics have to say, even though at this point I feel like fuck the critics. But what's your thought on that, man?
Well, I mean, we can look at this in two perspectives, in the Warner Brothers perspective and the fan perspective. In terms of what Warner Brothers might be thinking, they're like, okay, we're just going to release it on HBO Max. We are not going to pay for a theatrical release. We are not going to pay for a Blu-ray release. We just put it out there, finish the VFX that need to be done, and that's it. And it's going to be the cheapest way to get it. And I think that the guys at HBO Max, I think that they are really happy with that option, because it's like, we have the exclusivity of this thing that everyone wants to see, and only we have that thing. So they can put it in the first day of HBO Max and see the subscriptions go up crazy, like a skyrocket to the moon. But I think that if they are intelligent and now thinking about it in a fun way, they should do a limited theatrical release, put it on HBO Max the moment it is out of cinemas, like the next day, so you don't lose the momentum, and then maybe 3-4 months later put it out on Blu-ray and have a special limited edition just for fans, and it's $50. And I'm telling you that thousands of people are going to buy that $50 Blu-ray, because everyone is really hungry for this movie. So I think that a theatrical release is not out of the question, because if they do I don't know. It has a name. I've heard it in English, but I can't really remember the word now. It's like a part-time theatrical release or something like that. If they do that and then immediately release it on HBO Max, you are going to have people pay for it to have the experience of seeing it in the cinema. Then people pay for it to see it again on HBO Max at their place, and then 4 months or 5 months later, you are going to have people pay for it for the physical copy. Because, for example, myself, I like to have films in the physical way because you're like, it's mine. I can touch it. Something that I've worked so hard for, I can finally touch it and have it in all my collection. So I think that will be the most clever and best in terms of business perspective, because you will be getting 3 times the money instead of just HBO Max.
Okay. Brother Jordan, man, what do you think? Is HBO Max solely the best option, or do you think theatrical first should be the primary first option?
I pretty much agree with everything that Fran said. I think here in the States we have something called like Fathom events, where they put like kind of special screenings on.
Yeah, that's a word. Sorry.
Fathom Fathom events. Yeah, so I think a Fathom events type deal, and then the next day or later that week release it on HBO Max. That would probably, I mean, because movies are released in theaters. They used to be, anyways. They used to be released in theaters, essentially to be a big commercial for the DVD sales, right? Because like back in the day, like 10 years ago, the movie kind of the time the movie was in the theaters, that was just a big advertisement for the DVD home sales, because what they really want, they want the money for the tickets and everything, but they also really want you to go buy it when it comes out on DVD. So I think if you have a little type of like limited release type deal, or even what the Breaking Bad movie did with El Camino, where it was playing on Netflix, but at the same time there were certain theaters around the country that were still playing it in theaters. So something like that, I think, would probably build a lot of hype if you release it in theaters and make it kind of a special limited fan event, because you don't risk doing if they wide released it everywhere. As much as I would love that, they risk losing a lot of money, because you have to put money towards the marketing, you have to put money towards distributing that movie to all the theaters, and all that other stuff. So I think a smaller limited release will probably draw in, I mean hell, I think it'd probably make a lot of money if it was released in that kind of limited run type of way. We all know that once it comes out on HBO Max, it's going to make a lot of money. And of course, once they announce a DVD, box set, or Blu-ray, or 4K, or whatever, of course all the fans are going to buy that. So, but all that being said, I'm fine with just HBO Max. I mean, we'll take it any way we can get it, right? Like,
right.
We can't really be picky. I think what Fran and I just kind of talked about, that's kind of the dream. The dream would be to have a limited release in theaters, HBO Max, and then the DVD or Blu-ray sales. I think that would be probably ideal. But we'll take just HBO Max for now and see where it goes from there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, we should take anything that they give us. But after what happened on Sunday, I think that Zack has the power to ask for almost anything he wants. I think that, I mean, I've never seen a DCU movie trend that high. Like, I've never seen, for example, Wonder Woman trend at 900k tweets one day. I've never seen that. So I think that at this point of time, everyone's talking about this thing. So I think that right now, I know that they are negotiating and they are not going to give him everything that he wants. But I think that if he asks for a limited release, for example, like the BBS Ultimate Edition, but a little bit longer, I think that they will get it. I think they will give it to him. I mean, I wish, but after what happened on Sunday, I think that it's a viable option.
Okay. Brother Jordan, man, I'll start with you, man. Would you agree that us uniting like we did last Sunday shows that Zack Snyder's movies do in fact have power? Because like Fran has repeatedly said, it was crazy. Like we literally, like I posted, we literally went to war on social media. It was crazy. I was happy, but it was crazy. Would you agree
It
that?
felt like it.
Yeah, it did feel like it, man. Would you agree that us uniting shows that Zack Snyder's movies do in fact have power?
Yes, I would totally agree. You know, events like what happened on Sunday, that just doesn't happen with any other director. I mean, there are more critically acclaimed directors out there. There are, I mean, not to put, because we all love Zach, we love his work, we think his movies are awesome, but
Right.
there are directors who could be considered better out there. There are directors with more fans probably than him, but I think his fandom is just really passionate and really really supportive of him because of what he's been through, because of how other people treat him. Myself, like, I was kind of like, he was always kind of a director that I loved, but I was kind of secretly ashamed, in film school, because, they're there watching, like, Wong Kar-wai and Bellatar and Tarkovsky, and I'm, like, sitting here watching these superhero movies, but it wasn't until, like, I saw how much, like, harassment online and, like, just the cruelty of, like, online bloggers and stuff, where I'm like, no, screw this, I'm a big fan, I gotta be vocal about this, I gotta, like, say something, because if something speaks to you, if something, makes you happy or makes you kind of, gives you some excitement in the world or whatever that may be, that's worth sharing and talking about with other people.
Right.
And on Sunday, we had, I'm not good with numbers again, but we had thousands, maybe millions of people talking about it and demanding it and asking for more of his work and standing up for him.
Right.
So, that's worth it, I think. Like, that's not nothing. That doesn't just happen with anybody. Like, yeah, I think about other movies that didn't happen or almost happened or where the directors were kicked off and everything.
Yeah.
Other kind of cinema projects, I think about those, but this is different. One, because the movie is shot, and in his own words, it's done. And two, like, his movies just speak to us in a certain way. And it's hard to describe it in words, but it means something to us and to, as we saw on Sunday, lots of other people.
Right. Damn. Brother Fran, man, would you agree that us uniting shows that Zack Snyder's movies have power?
Yeah, but I would love to know what you think of it first.
Me?
And then I'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely shows that we have there's power in unity, like I always say. It shows that his movies have power. They, like Jordan said, they speak to us not just on a certain level, not just because they're flashy superheroes, but some of the themes that come from these movies speak to us and have an ability to move us, the audience, as well, despite what people online, whether they're bloggers, whether they're verified Twitter users, they just have the ability to move us. And if you have a platform like a YouTube or a Twitter to use to express your opinion exactly how you want it to be expressed or how you want it to be felt, then you absolutely should. And yeah, you know how I talk in circles, so yeah.
Well, I think also the same. Like, I think that other directors may have a bigger fan base, and some other directors might be better than Zack Snyder. I don't know, but from what I've seen, I don't think that no one will be campaigning from, like, for example, Josh Trank, I think it's his name, the guy that directed the Fantastic Four movie that got messed with. Like, he made a joke review like 2 days ago or something of Fantastic Four, and he said, I'm not Zack Snyder, I'm not a genius, I'm not a genius director and an incredible artist, so no one is saying release the Trank cut. And I mean, it's kind of sad because I would love to see that cut from him, because if he worked as hard in the movie, he deserves it. But also, it's the same thing that he said, like, I don't think that no one out there has so passionate fans that are so much in love with a guy's movie from a director's movies that are willing to be 2 years non-stop making campaigns, donating money, buying T-shirts, buying planes to fly over Warner Brothers for fuck's sake. Like, we've never seen that. And that's all because of the passion that these movies inspire on us and the passion that that guy inspires on us. Like, I've never seen such a pure person in my life. Like, every time that I see an interview of Zack Snyder or the director's event that he had and the talks that he had, like, you see him talk and you just think, like, this is just a nice, genuine guy who loves his work, loves making movies, takes it very seriously because he works on them really, really hard and tries to make them as perfect as possible. And he's just a nice guy trying to do his job and trying to make movies that other people enjoy. He doesn't deserve any of the hate that he gets. Like, I can understand for a guy made this Why I Love BBS video lately. I can't remember his name, but that video was fucking awesome. And he says in his video that he's just a human being and he didn't deserve any of the hate that he got. Like, you can criticize his movies, but everyone, like, I've seen the Collider boss saying on Twitter that Zack Snyder is a self-hating Jew. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how can you unite as sane persons who like a director's movies when you like those movies and you see that director, just because he had Batman killing or because Superman broke an oak, you're seeing people call him a self-hating Jew, and some people saying that he bullied his daughter to suicide. Like, are you fucking crazy? How are you not going to unite against that? It is what the common sense people will do, and that's what we are doing.
Right.
Because it's not only his movies, but the guy is just a nice guy trying to do movies. That's it, and people are treating him like he's fucking Hitler or something like that.
Yeah.
Just because Batman killed doesn't mean that you can go and insult him and telling him that he bullied his daughter to death. Like, what a piece of shit you are if you say stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just
it's ridiculous, man. And it's like you said, man, you can dislike you said this plenty of times, you can dislike a movie, you cannot like a movie, but when you get personal about somebody you don't even know just because he made a movie you dislike, you not only need help, you need to check yourself, because that's just taking it way too far, and that's just inhumane in my opinion. Brother Jordan, you got any thought on that, man?
I mean, like I said, like, he just gets, a weird amount of hate.
Yeah.
For no reason. And it just seems really ridiculous. And I mean, obviously, this is a conversation that goes back to, like, how social media influences us and just, like, people's in general. But he's become this weird punching bag, and I'll see it. Like, I'll just be browsing movie websites and stuff, and I'll read the comments, and then out of nowhere, just suddenly bashing Man of Steel or bashing him or just insulting him, and it's like, well, that's uncalled for. You guys think about him an awful amount for, like, people who don't like his work.
Exactly.
I know there are directors that I'm not huge fans of, but I don't like. They don't live in my mind. I don't think about them all the time. Whenever something comes up that I don't like, I'm like, oh, it's like this director. No, like, if I don't care for something, I just move on. You know how many thousands of movies there are? And, like, other things that I can be doing with my time? Like, I have no room for that kind of, like, just steeping in my anger about, a certain director.
Right.
Or like, movies I don't care for. Like, I just ignore it. So, I don't know. It's just, everybody gangs up on him. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's idiotic. And at the end of the day, he's rich and buff. And, like, he gets to make movies for a living, so, like, he's winning, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can squat 400 elves in the gym, so I would like to see some of these bloggers tell those things at his face. Because he may be short, but that guy is fucking buffed.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've been going to the gym for, like, 1 year and a half or something like that, and that guy is fucking jacked. Like, he's lifting weights that I've never seen in my fucking life. So I would like to see some of these guys saying that he's a self-hating Jew, telling him that at his face, because I don't know what he will do. He could probably just crush their fucking jaw in if he wanted to.
If you wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that kind of guy, but he could do that.
Yeah, he definitely could. Man, Fran, let me ask you this, man. Which celebrity were you most surprised to tweet that you saw tweet the hashtag, man?
I will say Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
Although, like, a lot of people have said that Gal Gadot was the one that had the most skin on the game. Like, she was, like, testing Warner Brothers a little bit by saying that, but I don't think that nothing's going to happen to her. But Ben Affleck, because I was like, okay, Ben Affleck is gone. He just fucked what happened at Justice League. I'm not Batman anymore. Let me leave. I was tired of all the Batman questions and this and that, so just let me leave, and I'm going to forget this chapter of my life. And he, publicly saying that maybe he wasn't the one that actually typed it, or maybe it was his marketing team or whatever. But I think that Zack called him or texted him or something and said, hey, listen, I'm going to try to do this on Sunday. Are you in or are you out? And the fact that he was in was extremely surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he was in because of what he has said multiple times on interviews, that he agreed to play Batman because it was Snyder's vision. Like, it was going to start here and it was going to end him sacrificing himself. So I think that he was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, I've worked too hard for this, and if this movie has the ability to come out and it was the one that I signed up for, let's go for it. And that was really surprising. And that tweet has like 70,000 retweets and 140,000 likes. And the Zack Snyder ones have like 70k likes, and the Gal Gadot ones has like the same, like 200 likes or something like that. Like, even for them, that's an incredible amount of likes and retweets, even for a tweet from them, which was crazy.
Okay, Brother Jordan, man, which celebrity were you most surprised to see tweet the hashtag?
I mean, gosh, that Sunday felt like, I don't know, that was the only day in my entire life where I've laid in bed doing nothing but like tweeting and being on my phone. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Gal Gadot
Mm-hmm.
and Ben Affleck, I mean, they just eclipsed everybody else, because you gotta, like, from our fandom perspective, from people who've been in this, it's been incredibly disheartening over the last few years to hear, like, all these league members who have dropped out or who Warner Brothers aren't interested in. Like, it's been just crushing. Like, for years, for a long time, we were like, the Batman's still coming out. Ben Affleck is still involved. We loved him. We loved what he did. And when he left, it was just so crushing, because we're like, oh no, you know, like, he's left, he's done, he's not interested. Obviously, we know that's because they messed up with Justice League behind the scenes and all that, and he wasn't having any of it. So seeing him support the movement, you know, was shocking, because as Fran said, we thought, oh, he's just done, he's not going to ever touch superheroes again. But then when you think about it, step back and you're like, wait a minute, he did sign up for Zack's vision. And if I signed up for a really badass movie, comes out, they turned it into this cheap joke kind of thing, of course I'd want to see it. He seems like the kind of guy who would, like, absolutely want to see that movie see the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's an Oscar-winning, like, director, and he's respected in the film community and all that stuff. So he out of people, like, I mean, taste doesn't really mean anything, but in terms of someone having good taste and someone having, you know, a good eye for what makes a good film, he's definitely one of them. So seeing him support the Snyder Cut just seemed kind of, that was really just shocking to see on that front. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, we thought he was done. We weren't even sure if he was into filming Justice League, because after BVS, it just seemed like he was just kind of, you know, pushing through it, not really involved. But we see that, oh, clearly he put a lot of hard work into Justice League too. Mm-hmm. So we want to see that, and he wants us to see that. And then Gal Gadot, that's another thing, because, you know, it's shocking because she's been pretty silent on the matter. She's been pretty, how do you say, she's wanted to kind of keep the studio happy. She hasn't really said things to upset the studio. She seems like she just wants to kind of play ball. And of course, I totally get that. It's her job. She doesn't owe us anything if it costs her job. She doesn't have to do anything. But at the same time, she's got all that power. What is the studio going to do? Replace Wonder Woman? You can't do that. And she's using that to say, hey, I was in this movie. You guys messed it up. Let's make it right again. And that was really great to see. And she's been a Zack supporter since day one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just kind of surprising because I think we all have this image of her as being this kind of, kind of plays along with the company, doesn't like to start too much fights in terms of like making them mad, doesn't want to kind of jeopardize her position. But then, when you step back at it and you're like, oh, wait a minute, she's Wonder Woman. You can't replace her. She's irreplaceable. And clearly, like everybody else involved in the movie, she put a lot of hard work into that, and she wants to see the real deal on screen. So I think for me, the two most shocking ones was Batman and Wonder Woman. But of course, like seeing like Dave Bautista, that was awesome. Seeing, Scott Derrickson and just other people in the industry supporting Zack was just great.
Yeah, shout out to Jason Momoa. Brother Jordan, man, I'll start with you once more. Though I and the select few, and both of you being one of the select few, knew this already, Joss Whedon, according to an article, apparently had 80 pages, sadly, of new material for Justice League. What's your thought on that, man?
This is really tough.
Go ahead, brother.
I really want to try to stay positive. I don't want to burn bridges or like upset people. I really don't want to be negative towards anybody in the film industry because that's an industry I kind of want to be a part of. But at the same time, like, what the hell? Who thought that was a good idea? Where was the set of matches and gasoline when he presented that to Warner Brothers? Like, it just angers me so much. Like, when they kicked James Gunn off of Guardians 3,
Mm-hmm.
Disney asked other directors to take over for him, and they all said no. But when Zack gets booted off of Justice League,
Mm-hmm.
they go to this cheeseburger-eating, trying to finger fuck people in the back of cars and try to be this pseudo-feminist. They go to this greasy, bald Thanos-looking guy, and they're like, hey, would you like to write some jokes? And he's like, okay. Flash falls on Wonder Woman's titties. We talk about Lois Lane being this thirsty reporter. It's great and it's funny, right, guys? And probably all the studio heads were like laughing their asses off, like Lil Kev from It's Always Sunny, mouths open, breathing out their popcorn kernels, and just, gosh.
Yeah.
Like, he wrote 80 pages.
Yeah.
Who the hell wants, like, oh my gosh, it was just anger. That's what I felt. It's like he rewrote that entire nothing in the movie. It just asserted what we already knew. Nothing in the theatrical cut of Justice League like resembles what was intended to be.
Right.
And it's just really disheartening to see like how Zack's fellow filmmakers couldn't, like, they didn't have any integrity, or at least that one anyways. Like, you couldn't stand up for your peer, your colleague. Like, I get it, you're being paid and hired to do this work, but you got money. You directed 2 Avengers movies. You directed, like, Firefly and all that stuff. You have the money. You don't need the money. You don't need this job. Why don't you use that position and try to stand up for your fellow artist and filmmaker? Instead, you turn it into this cheap joke, and, like, turn all the characters into these caricatures, and just
Marvelize DC, basically.
Exactly. You turn it in, like, nothing in Justice League was inspiring at all. Nothing in there treated those heroes with respect. And I just lost a lot of respect for Joss as a filmmaker. Because again, as I said, like when Gunn was fired from Guardians 3, lots of other artists showed their respect. They refused to kind of allow Disney to kick him off. They respected James Gunn and his vision and his world, and they couldn't, and he couldn't do that with Zack or his work.
And not to cut you off, Jordan. It was a result of some very bizarre and disturbing tweets. Zack Snyder has done nothing of the sort.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and again, we have to remember this is the same community that like worships at the feet of Roman Polanski and Woody Allen, and it's like people who have actually done things, terrible things, and are kind of creeps and everything. And I don't mean to like. I mean, everything I've said about Joss is like based off rumors and stuff. He might not really be that creepy, but just the way he writes, the way he tweets, the way he talks about women, just comes across as very kind of pseudo-feminist, really creepy. Again, I don't know him. I could be completely wrong. Apologies if I offend anyone with that, but just I don't know what else to say. Like, it's creepy the way he treated Wonder Woman. And I don't think he showed any integrity with what he did to Justice League.
Right.
Well, I mean, I just want to say one thing. The tea is fucking hot today. Like, the tea is fucking delicious. Jordan has just said like the most real 5 minutes that I've ever seen regarding the Justice League thing. Like, I've never heard like a more concise or the best 5 minutes of the whole fucking shit that is Justice League and all the situation. That was the fucking tea. Like, I wouldn't add or delete anything of what he said. Like just imagine being Sugihara and having that beautiful scene of Clark saying, "I'll take that as a yes," and having them marry after 3 films and all the bad things that they've been gone through, and say, "You know what? You are right, Josh. We have to cut that scene out and have flash fall on Wonder Woman's tits."
Oh my god, bro.
And we're going to say that Clark didn't smell good. And
oh my god, man.
I mean, what does it feel like coming out of I mean, in Spanish it's even worse. Like, I heard it in Spanish a week before this, and he says something like, "How does it feel like coming out of a wood box?" And he's like, "Itchy," or something like that. It's like, what the fuck is this dialogue? Like, it feels like if I wrote that dialogue, like, I have no idea of writing dialogue for film. It feels like I wrote it, which is fucking lame.
Yeah.
Like, you had those intricate stories of, you know, Aquaman being an outcast and Superman is finally trying to be the Superman that we all know and love, and that deleted scene where he chooses the original suit instead of the black suit, and he goes to Alfred and he's fucking perfect. Like, his eyes are shining and his hair is perfect, and he's like, "I'm assuming you're Alfred," and then Alfred says Master Kent, which is fucking cute. And all that is like, yeah, I think we're gonna cut that out and have Clark say, "You know, I believe in truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice."
And slowpoke and shit. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
This is so stupid.
Slowpoke. And the one's in the right, and he's taking like a whole building, which is physically impossible. I don't know. It looks like they tried to boycott their own movie.
There's not even people in that building if you look at the shot. It's an empty building.
He's just trying to save money for the Russian government, you know?
He's
they don't have to build it again.
It's a whole real estate scheme, you know?
Yeah. It is so fucking sad. Like, I don't know who made those decisions, but fuck those guys who made those decisions, and I think most of them are out. And fuck Joss Whedon, because people say, "Oh no, you know, it was Warner Brothers' decision to change the movie," and that's true. But you're not going to change the movie if you don't have a director. And picking on a project, and it's not only that, you know, Zack was fired and they were like, "Okay, Josh, come here and change the movie." It's like, he was fired and he also had to leave because his fucking daughter committed suicide. Like, how piece of shit are you that you're going to take a movie that is not even yours after what happened to the last director, that he had to leave because those horrible circumstances, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to fuck all his movie up, I'm going to fuck all his years of working on this film up in 3 months, have shitty CGI, have shitty dialogue, destroy all the characters that he had been building up, and then put his name in the front of the movie.
Yeah.
That's just Whedon for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, let's say Joss wasn't intentionally sabotaging it. Let's say he actually thought these were good ideas and everything. It's like, okay, then he's not a terrible person. The only crime is just kind of being a doofus and being a dummy. But like, even if he's like, okay, I want to make the best movie I can, and all these decisions and stupid choices are mandated by the studio, then just walk away. Show your own artistic integrity. If you're trying to like create something actually good, don't let them shove you around. Because I mean, it's not like it was kind of below the studio to have done that before. Clearly, they messed up with Ayer's vision and with Snyder's before, and it's like he had no. There's so many reasons, or so many times when Joss could have walked away if he truly wanted to make something great, and he truly wanted to respect that vision and do his best work, and he just didn't, and he let that happen, and it was just an insult to those characters
and the people that worked on the film. And
exactly.
Not only that, brothers, and I talked to y'all a few during our last segment afterwards. I'm trying to figure out in my sane mind and in my adult mind what individual just sat and watched Josh's thing and said, oh, you know what? Let's put this in theaters. They'll love it. You know, I'm trying to figure out who said, yeah, let's just put this out. They won't notice the difference. Like, if you, like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
I remember being in theaters for the first time watching it, and the Superman thing happened, and I'm like, okay, that was really weird, but okay, maybe Snyder had a purpose here, because I was very much in denial for the first 2 times I saw it, and then it's just like, rewatching it, it's so obvious. It's not at all how he shoots stuff. Even that Batman opening scene is so terribly choreographed and so poorly shot. It's like, you can just tell. Nothing in that movie resembles what any of Snyder's filmography, with the exception of some establishing shots and a couple of close-ups here and there. And it's just, gosh, Warner Brothers just didn't care, and I think we know that. They released it for bonuses.
Agreed.
They did not care about the movie enough, because if they really wanted to do quality control, they would have stopped that. No one would have let that movie be released as it is.
Yeah, I mean, and also not only the shots that you mentioned, but for me the thing that really fucks up the movie is the color correction and the overall CGI and colors of the film. Like, there's no contrast between things. Like, Steppenwolf blends into the environment, and characters are supposed to pop out in the screen, and the way Steppenwolf and the background is colored, they blend in, and you don't really see them. And then the Parademons in the final battle are not even finished. Like, they are just like humanoids, all gray, that they don't have like even the yellow thing in their chest, because I think that they didn't have time to do that. And they're just like little robots climbing on top of each other. and then like the original Snyder scenes are color corrected in a really bad way. That fucking orange that tints everything orange, and it's awful. And everything feels cheap. Like, for example, when they are talking in the Batcave about taking Superman back, like, everything feels like cheap. Like, the background feels like it's not finished. The colors in the screen are not right. Their faces are like, the lighting is not well done. Like, everything feels like an amateur did it. It's really, really bad.
Dude, even Age of Ultron looked better than Justice League. In Age of Ultron, Joss actually used contrast, and there was some great lighting in that movie, but Justice League just, it's I agree. The color correction was just terrible.
It's a damn shame.
Really, really bad.
Damn shame. Brother Fran, man, I'll start with you. Which character arc / story are you most excited to see in the Snyder Cut?
Oh shit, Soups. The Soups one.
Mm.
Like, after... I mean, I've obviously watched Man of Steel and VBS again a lot of times since Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I need to see that Flight 2.0. Like, I need to see it. Like, it's essential for me to continue living. I have to see that scene. Like, it's... I mean, you know, people say, like, you know, you have to visit New York once in your lifetime, and you have to visit the pyramids of Egypt once in your lifetime. Yeah, well, for me, I have to see that scene. Okay? I need to see the reborn Superman with that fucking amazing suit that he has, with no removed mustache, just flying away into space, because we don't see him fly in Justice League. We just see, like, little shots of him flying. And Man of Steel and BBS had some fucking great shots of him in space, flying at supersonic speed, and that was awesome. So I need to see it again. I need to see I'll take that as a yes scene. I need to see that. I need to see the arc complete. I need to see the fight choreography of Superman. Like, he's supposed to... Like, I've seen articles of Jay Oliva saying that he was supposed to be unhinged in this movie. So I think that his power level is going to be even higher. So he's going to be fighting like an MMA fighter or something like that. So I just need to see all that. I need to see him come back, realize who he is. That scene where he decides to take on the classic red and blue suit instead of the black suit, and really embrace who he is. A man who's born twice, once in Krypton and once on Earth, and have a wife and save the world. Like, he's Superman. He's supposed to do that. I just need that Flight 2.0 with that beautiful Hans Zimmer score, or Yankee XL's score. I suppose he's going to use the Man of Steel theme, but I just need it. I need that in my life.
Brother Jordan, man, which character arc or story are you most excited to see in the Snyder Cut?
Superman, I think, because that's my guy. That's my favorite superhero. The best superhero, in my opinion. And, you know, we only see a snippet of what, you know, his scenes in the movie, in the theatrical version, and even in the deleted scenes. So we really don't know how he was brought back, or what to what extent he's in the movie, or what his journey is. I mean, we know that it's about his rebirth and how he becomes kind of he finally realizes himself as the Superman, but we just don't see that. We don't know how he gets there.
Right.
So I want to see that. And then at the same time, Batman had a great journey where he was struggling with his mistakes, his regrets, and he was suicidal. And, you know, it's a continuation of that Batman that we saw in BVS, who was led off the path, but then brought back by Superman, but still struggling with his choices. That's something I really want to see. Cyborg too, of course, Ray Fisher. He was the heart and soul of the movie. And I think we'd probably get a lot of parallels between the birth of Cyborg and the birth of Superman, which I'm super excited to see. And also just, like, the entire League. Like, I get the sense that, you know, given the runtime, given the things that we found out about the movie, I think that the movie probably balanced all the characters pretty well. The movie probably gave each character their moment to shine. And that's just something you don't really get in the theatrical version.
Right.
So, just the League in general, but particularly Superman for me.
Yeah, for me, like you both, Superman is definitely one of them. This story started with him, and I definitely want to see it continue and flow like it needed to flow. Cyborg, again, you know, Ray Fisher, Cyborg definitely is one. Ray Fisher, very talented individual. Again, like you said, Brother Jordan, he is the heart and soul. And the fact that they removed his scenes, and a lot of the scenes that, you know, he was in just really kind of bothered me as a moviegoer and as a fan of Zack Snyder's movies, because it's like this man worked exceptionally hard to train and become Victor Stone and Cyborg, and just seeing him on screen as he was meant to be seen, I felt was going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. And the lesser known, like Ezra Miller, because I know he's a talented actor, you know, playing the Flash. I definitely want to see how his story comes to light as well, and not non-perverted action. No shout out to Josh. Brother Fran, man, I'll start with you with this next one. What's your thought on David Ayer and Suicide Squad? You know, he supported the Snyder Cut as well, but he's also been releasing pictures here and there in regards to Suicide Squad. We know that his cut of Suicide Squad fell victim to, as I call them, jiggity funkity bibbity bot reshoots, and we know that what he had intended for the film was a lot different than what we saw. Me personally, I still enjoyed the film to a degree, more than I probably should, but I would like to see what he intended for Suicide Squad. Do you think there's a case to be made for the Ayer cut, man?
Well, before I answer this, I have to say it because you reminded me of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Fisher on Twitter and Instagram, he deleted all his tweets, he deleted all his photos, and he just released the Snyder Cut, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish to have such a loyal friend as Ray Fisher is to Zack Snyder and Jason Momoa is to Zack Snyder in my life.
Right.
Like that is one of the best and most beautiful friendships that I have ever seen. So I would love to see also Cyborg's story, just because Ray Fisher really deserves it. Now, I would love to see David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. I think that maybe the beginning and the second act are partially the same, but the third act is completely changed. Like Diablo was supposed to be alive, I think, from what I've seen from a VFX reel or something like that, and Joker was supposed to show up and try to kill Harley. So I would love to, like, it's the same situation as the Snyder Cut.
Right.
It's a studio meddling with a director's vision because they got scared after BBS and they fucked up David Ayer's movie. I mean, it made tons of money. People thought it was shit, but everyone went to see it. And I think that he has that feeling of, that wasn't completely my movie, and I would like the public to see it. Now, the worst thing about it, and why I don't think it's going to be as possible as they release the Snyder Cut, is first, not a lot of people know about it, and second, he stayed on for reshoots. He wasn't fired and another director was brought in. He stayed and he did his own reshoots, so I don't know the legalities of him asking for a director's cut if he agreed to do those reshoots. I would love to see it, but I don't know Warner Bros. Opinion on it. I just don't.
Yeah, especially since they're, for whatever reason, using James Gunn's, writing and directing for the Suicide Squad. Hopefully, Birds of Prey, and I think it is going to kind of tie into David Ayer's more. I feel like James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is going to be more or less like either a prequel or a successor, not more like a sequel. But anyway, Brother Jordan, man, what's your thought on David Ayer's non-jiggity funkity bibbity bot reshot Suicide Squad, the actual Suicide Squad?
I would love to see it. David Ayer, he's just a great director. I really love his movies. He's really great at handling kind of dynamics between lots of characters and kind of little groups of people. And we actually do see some of that in Suicide Squad. In Suicide Squad, I think, like Fran said, because he stayed on for the reshoots and because of the nature of what that movie kind of is, it's kind of trickier. And in a weird way, Suicide Squad still kind of works. but because, you know, with Man of Steel, BVS being what they were, going from that to the theatrical Justice League is just totally jarring. We obviously know that's not what Zack intended.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's kind of hard to piece together, okay, where was this David Ayer's vision? Where was the studio meddling? And it's kind of hard. But from what I've read a lot of like kind of interesting things about what the movie was supposed to be. David Ayer has talked about it. And, you know, I really want to see it. It seems like, you know, with the preview for Birds of Prey, it seems kind of like the tone of that seemed to be kind of what David Ayer was going for. With his original Suicide Squad. If you watch the first trailer for Suicide Squad, and then watch the Birds of Prey preview, tone-wise, they seem like, you know, to go together really well. But then, of course, when you watch Suicide Squad, it's a little bit more kind of like...
Pop.
I can't remember all the words you described it, Josh, but like that's the perfect way to sum it all up. It just felt kind of like this weird mashup music video kind of thing, which is fine for what it is. But hearing that there's another version out there that was kind of more serious and less kind of jokey, more kind of in line with the Birds of Prey, more in line with David Ayer's sensibilities. That's something I'm more interested in than, you know, what we got. So. And of course, you know, more Batfleck apparently. I heard a rumor at one point Jesse Eisenberg might have been in that, but I mean, I think that was just a rumor. I don't think he's actually in it, but you know, there's a lot of potential there for some fun kind of stuff going on, and yeah, I would love to see the Ayer cut.
I completely agree. Shout out to David Ayer too, man. He's a soldier. Brother Fran, man, I'll start you off with this one. We're about to close. Did we make history or send a message or both last Sunday?
Well, I mean, history will be made when they officially announce it. But the fact that 2 years later, just a supposedly small group of fans did what we did, like we got to 900k tweets. Like I've seen the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the local news in the United States talking about it in the morning. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
Like, months ago and 1 year ago, everyone, like, at Collider and all these podcast places that, I mean, I'm not going to be toxic or negative about it. I'm happy that they are changing their opinion and they are all in for the Snyder Cut. I'm happy that they are in our train, and they are more than welcome to be in it. But those guys 2 years ago said, "Oh, Warner Brothers is not going to release a cut of a movie that doesn't exist. Come on, people, we can do better than this and this and that." And we were like, "No, it exists. You will see, it exists." And against all odds, we made cinema history in terms of we fought for a director's vision, and we got to 900k tweets. That's something that we've never seen before.
Right.
I think that we make history in terms of don't fuck in that way with a director's vision and a director's integrity, because it will backfire on you. So treat your directors with a little bit more of respect, and don't fuck their movies up and then trying to cover everything up like, no, this is not what happened and this doesn't exist on this or this on that. And I mean, we also have the example of the Richard Donner cut. It's not like the first time that something like this has been done, but no one said from the Donner cut like, oh, that doesn't exist, he didn't finish principal photography or this and that. They were like, oh yeah, someday it will come out. But we had all odds against us. Like all the major media outlets were saying it doesn't exist. So the general public were like, okay, that thing doesn't exist. And we fought and we made campaigns and we had Saka at our side, and we just fought and came together last week, and we did something that I didn't even think was possible. Like we reached our 214k goal and we like made that thing 4 times. So I think that we really made history. We will win the time that it is officially announced. But that Sunday was history in terms of the film industry and the modern film industry.
Damn. Brother Jordan, man, what's your thought on you really covered this really well earlier. What's your thought on us making history and sending a message to Warner Brothers and quite frankly to the rest of the movie making world that not only are we not going anywhere, but this means something. And like Fran said, like there's no reason for a studio to fuck with the person that they hired. What's your thought on all that, man?
Well, I mean, as I've said, like, Sunday was like the greatest day ever. If you've been in the fandom for a long time, I'm not going to say we won, but I can feel that we're winning, and I feel that there's been big changes. And if this was kind of a thing that Zach planned out and tried to organize to get some hype and kind of prove that people want to see his movie, we definitely showed that. Mm-hmm. If this was if this is kind of a little subtle marketing thing that Warner Brothers and Zach are trying to do, we're all super pumped. I think what we all are aware of now is that at the very least Warner Brothers is talking about it, and they know that they can't just stay silent on this. They have to do something. And I think things are changing for the better. I think we've kind of subtly felt that over the last few months, but Sunday really cemented it, that things are changing for the better. Mm-hmm. And I've always said this. I always believed that we were going to get the cut eventually. Just didn't know if it was going to be in 20 years or in 2 years. And it looks like we might be getting the cut next year. As soon as next year, we have sooner than we expected. So we're in the home stretch, it seems like, and for that I'm very, very happy.
I completely agree. Finally, brothers, and this is pretty much a simple question. Brother Jordan, I'll start with you. There is in fact power in unity. Would you agree or disagree?
Totally agree.
Brother Fran, would you agree that there is power in unity, man?
Yeah, of course there is. The moment we understand that in order to get what we want and make a bigger push, we have to take aside our differences and push in a common direction, and don't call the people who aren't tweeting every day part-timers, like I've seen on Twitter, or not saying, oh, you are now using the hashtag, or you are part of this club, or you are part of this club, or this and that. Yes, push together, be united, because we all have the same goal. So don't let those little differences separate us and make this scene more difficult than it is.